Are you a guy who's feeling lost in these menswear streets and wants to build a timeless wardrobe that turns heads? If you're not in agreement, then I want to link with you for a complimentary Step Up Your Menswear Discovery Call. In this informative 20-minute session, I'll dissect your current fashion choices and identify where you might be missing out on opportunities to enhance your style game, all while staying true to classic menswear principles. Whether you're a professional, a businessman, or simply someone seeking to upgrade your style game, the Step Up Your Menswear Discovery Call is tailor-made for you. Book a slot on my calendar today by going to I'mNotAGentleman.com and click on the Work With Me tab. Peace.
I'm Not a Gentleman is a production of ChaseandRider.com.
How many combinations did Steve Harvey said you can make with those suits again? That's what I was like, man, what is Steve talking about, bro? You can't just take a jacket from a suit and then pair it with the trouser from another suit and call that an outfit, man. You just can't do that. The thing with blazers and sport coats, they are actually cut to be blazers and sport coats. You see what I'm saying? There are different characteristics that come with those type of jackets. Yo, what up? Welcome to I'm Not a Gentleman, the show designed to help you look stylish without following trends. I'm your host, Vladimir Riché from ChaseandRider.com and your favorite menswear YouTuber's favorite menswear YouTuber. I've helped dozens of clients and hundreds of students and viewers feel more confident by looking their best and always making a great first impression. Have you ever wondered how to do business casual the right way? What about what's the most versatile color of trousers to wear with your sport coats? And what's the best shoe style to wear when you're doing business casual? Those are some of the questions that I was really confused about back when I was getting started in menswear. I told this story before where I asked this guy that I knew because, he was wearing tailored clothing for a long time. He was a little bit older than me. And I was like, how do you know what color trousers to wear with your sport coats? And he goes, man, it's pretty easy, man. You can just wear anything. Later I came to find out you couldn't just wear anything, but that's what he told me. The funny thing is, it's easy to wear a suit, just one piece, versus doing the sport coat and our trousers look. It's a lot harder than it should be. Actually, it's really not that hard once you know what you're doing, but it's a lot more intimidating in the beginning since you have to combine a couple of different items. So this is exactly what we're going to cover in this episode. Intro.
Back in that bag again. Whoa.
So welcome to episode 17 of I'm Not a Gentleman. Once again, we're going to talk about business casual and all the mistakes that I see guys make and how to easily correct them. We're going to go over 5 different mistakes. And just to be clear, when I say business casual, I'm talking about when you want to wear out trousers and sport coats. You don't really have to wear a sport coat for it to be business casual. You can actually wear something like a shawl collar cardigan or something like that. That's still business casual. But today we're going to talk about sport coats and out trousers. Once again, it's not really hard, but it's a lot harder than just wearing a suit. A suit is just one piece, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because the suit is definitely a lot more serious than when you're doing the out trousers look, but it's much easier. You don't have to worry about what goes with what. People have been wearing suits for years, so there's a lot of examples out there of guys doing it right. But there aren't as many examples when it comes to the business casual look. So this is what we're going to cover. Before we even get into the mistakes, maybe we should talk about why even wear out trousers and sport coats to begin with. Why not just wear a suit all the time? And if you're doing something more casual, you can just lose the tie. I mean, that is a thought, and it is something that I've done. Like, for example, if I'm going to something after work and I'm already in a suit, I don't get a chance to change into a sport coat and out trousers. I just take my tie off, and that automatically make my outfit more casual. But that's because there's no other option. if you know you're going somewhere that doesn't require for you to wear a suit, but you still want to be presentable, then there's no reason to really wear a suit. And once again, like almost everything that I do on this podcast, I'm speaking from experience. In the beginning, like I said, I didn't know how to really pair the out trousers with the sport coat. So I used to wear a suit all the time. And once I started wearing sport coats and out trousers, I realized that I actually wear those more often now than I wear a suit. It's funny because to a lot of people, whenever they see me dressed that way, they still look at me like I'm dressed up versus me, I look at it like I'm dressed down. But that goes to show you how people feel about menswear, man, you know? Most people don't really care for menswear that much, most guys at least. So whenever you're wearing the jacket, they automatically think that you dressed up. And before we continue, just so I don't confuse you, I'm using the word sport coat, but it could also mean a blazer, so I'm using the term interchangeably. The difference between a sport coat and a blazer is easy. So a sport coat is usually multiple colors, also involves some patterns, versus a blazer is a single color and sometimes comes with metal buttons. But once again, when I say sport coat, it could also mean a blazer. So just keep that in mind. All right, now let's get to the mistakes, man. Now, the first mistake that guys make when they want to do the business casual look, they think that wearing their suit jacket with a different pair of trousers makes it okay. It does not. So you can't wear an off-in suit jacket and just pair it with another pair of trousers from a different suit and think that it's okay. How many combinations did Steve Harvey said you can make with those suits again? You know, that's why I was like, man, what is Steve talking about, bro? You can't just take a jacket from a suit and then pair it with the trouser from another suit and call that an outfit, man. You just can't do that. The thing with blazers and sport coats, they are actually cut to be blazers and sport coats. You see what I'm saying? There are different characteristics that come with those type of jackets. The first one is, being that they're more casual, they're not going to be as structured in most cases compared to a suit jacket. So typically, depending on the origin, you're going to find some suit jackets have strong shoulder padding. When we're talking about sport coats and blazers, the padding is going to be minimal. Now, of course, if it's custom and someone has a drop shoulder, then they may have more padding in one of the shoulders just to even it out. But typically, when we're talking about blazers and sport coats, it's not going to be as structured. The second thing also is, typically, your sport coats are going to have patch pockets. And also, most sport coats are going to be a notch lapel. Now, you can have a sport coat have peak lapels, but peak lapels are considered dressier than notch lapels. So in most cases, most sport coats are going to come with notch lapels versus suits, probably, 50-50? Actually, no, more like 75-25, 75% notch, 25% peak, probably, I would say. But, peak lapels are definitely a lot dressier.
We'll be right back.
This week's episode is sponsored by none other than TLB Mallorca, which is a shoe brand out of Spain, founded by Tony Lobera Barcelo. TLB made its official debut around 6 years ago and has taken the shoe industry by storm. Specializing in Goodyear welted shoes, TLB's main collection starts at $360. But the Artista line, which costs $411, is where the brand really shines. With features like a slim beveled waist, which accentuates the shape of the shoe and usually found on much more expensive bespoke shoes, close-cut heels, 8 stitches per inch, and using real leather heel stiffeners as opposed to leatherboard. The shoes don't only look good, they also mold to your feet for maximum comfort with no break-in period. TLB Mallorca works exclusively with leather tanned using the traditional methods, mainly calfskin obtained from the finest French and Italian tanneries. Whether you're just starting your collection or looking to add to it, I highly recommend the 198, which is their plain capital Oxford in black with a swan neck design. You can also request extras such as metal toe taps, elastic shoe trees, and matching belts. The Artista line of TLB Mallorca has 3 lasts to choose from. The first one is the Goya, which is their round last. The second is the Picasso last, which is a lightly squared toe. And the third one is the Van Gogh, which is their soft square, which also happens to be my favorite. Visit tlbmallorca.com to learn more, or click the link in the show notes and tell them I sent you. Now back to the episode. So that's why you can't just take a jacket from a suit and use it as a sport coat. Now, if you're getting a suit custom made, you can definitely make the jacket as a sport coat, and then you can use it as part of a suit. So you can use a sport coat as a suit jacket. You can't use a suit jacket as a sport coat. Like a lot of my suits are Neapolitan suits where they have no shoulder padding. They have patch pockets, notched lapels, and they're actually suit jackets. But if I wanted to, I can wear them separately because they are built to play both roles. But you can't do the opposite. You can't just take any suit jacket and call it a blazer just because you want to wear it with different color pins. And like I said, man, not to really harp on this and get on Steve, but that was my biggest issue with what he said. And I didn't want guys who don't really know that much about menswear to think that that was the gospel. You know what I mean? You can't make 75 combinations with those suits or whatever he said. And the funny thing is, these TikTok comedians were actually acting out the parts, man. Those dudes were flipping the different looks, wearing a brown jacket with a navy trouser and all sorts of craziness. But yeah, man, that's the first mistake that I see guys make when they're trying to dress business casual. So if you want to do that look, then definitely get a suit made where it's more relaxed to begin with. And then you'll be able to use that jacket as part of a business casual look. One reason why I don't always recommend that is because if you start doing that, then what you're doing is wearing the jacket a lot more often than you're wearing the trousers. And that could cause the colors to be different eventually. So the more that you wear something, it might start to fade. So if you're not wearing them evenly, that could cause trouble in the future. So let's say it's a navy suit, but it's cut in a way where you can use the jacket as a sport coat or a blazer, and you do it all the time, hardly wearing the trousers, then that could cause you trouble in the future, because when you wear it as a suit, the trousers might be darker than the top, which is not a good look. So just be mindful whenever you're doing that. I wouldn't recommend that you do that a lot. You should have sport coats and you should have suit jackets and use them separately, if that's possible. All right, so that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is wearing navy as out trousers. And by navy, I'm talking more like your worsted wool navy. If you know anything about the business casual look, the most famous look, what we call the security guard look, that's the navy sport coat or blazer with gray trousers. Now, of course, there are other variations of it where you can switch out the gray trousers for, let's say, shades of brown trousers, but nothing beats the actual security guard look. So that's the first look that I always recommend whenever somebody's doing the business casual look. The problem that it creates, since that combination works so well, a lot of guys think that the opposite will also work. And what I mean by the opposite, like if you were to flip it, so you're wearing gray on top and you want to wear navy trousers, and it just doesn't work the same. The thing is, navy trousers, especially when we're talking about just worsted wool, always look like they belong on a suit. So if it's a more casual fabric, let's say it's like a flannel, then you might be able to do it. Even then, there are still better options than navy. But there's something about the color navy that says suit versus more casual when we're talking about trousers. And that's a huge mistake that I see a lot of guys make, man. There are so many trouser colors. Definitely stay away from navy. I recommend shades of brown, definitely shades of gray, light gray, charcoal, shades of green, olive, etc. You can do cream. There are so many different options, man. Definitely leave the navy alone when it comes to your out trousers. It's not going to look good. It's going to look like you're just not wearing the jacket and you got dressed in the dark, so you're wearing a different jacket because you're not completing the look that comes with the trousers. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, everybody does the security guard look. I want it to look different. I mean, yeah, you can definitely look different by wearing a different jacket with different trousers, but that doesn't mean that you're going to flip it and think that's okay. You're just not okay, man. So I know somebody might jump and say, well, I've seen somebody do it. Well, it's possible, but there are always better options than navy trousers when you're doing the business casual look. That should be your last resort. And like I said, there are different colors that I recommend. I just listed them before. So I would definitely say go that route. But yeah, no navy trousers. The third mistake that I see guys make when they're doing the business casual look is the jacket and the trousers are too close in color. So you definitely want it to be a contrast. So I definitely wouldn't recommend, let's say, wearing charcoal trousers with like a medium gray sport coat. That's just too close, man. The beauty of the business casual look is that you can play with different colors. You're not stuck with just one color like you are with a suit. So that's when you want to find colors that are complementary. And what I would recommend you start with when it comes to your sport coats are all sorts of shades of brown. You can't really go wrong with shades of brown, and then you can pair those with gray. You can pair those, like I was saying before, with olive. You know, and you can also pair them with brown, but they have to be totally different shades. So let's say it's a rust corduroy. You can pair that with, let's say, a dark brown sport coat, like a tweed. You know, that works. But you just don't want them to be very close in shades and color. You want there to be a good contrast between the two. And also experiment, man. See what works, what looks better. And don't always go for the obvious thing. So just because of the color in the sport coat that you think would pair well with the trousers color doesn't mean that you have to wear that one. You can definitely look around and see which colors are complementary. For example, green and brown work really, really well together. So because you're wearing a brown sport coat doesn't mean that you have to do it with shades of brown, even though, you know, that's going to go, assuming that they're not close in color because it's the same color family. Like I was saying before, you can do rust with, let's say, dark brown, but also look to do green trousers. That's going to work really well with your brown sport coat. You know what I mean? So just experiment and see what works well, but stay away from the similar shades. And that's one mistake that I see a lot of guys make. Now, the fourth mistake that guys make when they're doing business casual is they're wearing the wrong shirt collar. In my opinion, when you're doing business casual, button-down collars or OCBD are going to be your best bet. And I see a lot of guys doing spread collars in that situation. Spread collars are typically reserved for when you're wearing a suit, in my opinion. I think that when you're doing the business casual look, your shirt should also be on the business casual side. And nothing beats an OCBD when we're talking about business casual. And OCBD, if you're not familiar, it's an Oxford cloth button-down collar. And those are the shirts where the collar or the shirt, the tip of the collar is buttoned to the body of the shirt. So those are going to be your most casual, dressy look, your best business casual look. Personally, when I wear those, I never wear a tie with them, but you definitely can. Just make sure that it has a really nice collar roll. You don't want those skimpy OCBDs. The way that works is you want one that has a really long collar point. That's what's going to help create that beautiful roll that the collar has. But yeah, man, I think there should be a difference between the shirt that you wear with a suit versus the shirt collars that you wear with your sport coat. Like, it can't look like you meant to wear a suit, but you just didn't. If you are going to go all the way, with the business casual look, you have to go all the way. And I do understand sometimes guys want to have shirts that play multiple roles because they don't really want to invest in getting different types of shirts. And I get it. But you do have to separate the two. It's either you're doing business casual or you're doing business. And like I said, if I'm going out after work, then that's different. But if you have an opportunity to actually dress for the occasion, then just make sure that you're dressing for the occasion and you're wearing the right shirt. And now, as far as what shirt colors do I recommend? A lot of light blue. You can do white. You can do stripes. I do a lot of stripes when I'm doing OCBDs. So it could be blue and white. It could be red and white, pink and white, even green and white. Once again, this is business casual, so you have more flexibility. You know what I'm saying? You can definitely play with the colors. I've even done a denim shirt. So there are a lot more things that open up to you. But if you're not really into colors like that, you can definitely stick to the basics, like your light blue, your white, and white and blue stripes. So that's mistake number 4. Last but not least, mistake number 5 is wearing the wrong shoes when you're doing business casual. And this one is a bit controversial because I brought it up before in a video and I got a few pushback, and it's cool. It's just the way that I feel about it. I feel like when you're doing the business casual look, you shouldn't be wearing Oxfords. There are a few different types of shoes, but Oxfords are always going to be your most formal shoe. And I feel like Oxfords should not be worn when wearing business casual. Now, there are exceptions, of course, as there are things that can make a pair of Oxfords more casual. So the plainer the Oxfords, the more formal it is. But if it has a lot of broguing, the broguing or the holes that you can find on the shoe, the more broguing it has, the more casual it becomes. So if we're talking about a pair of wingtips, even though technically it's an Oxford, that works. If you're talking about a pair of full brogue, then that works. But if we're talking about a plain cap toe Oxford, maybe an Adelaide or a punch cap toe, I think those are too formal to be worn with business casual. With that said, I've seen some people do it well, but in my opinion, there are always better options. So you can definitely go the derby route. The biggest difference between derbies and Oxfords, for those that aren't familiar, is in the lacing system, where an Oxford has a closed lacing system and a derby has an open lacing system. But that does make the shoe more casual when it has the open lacing system. And if you guys are familiar with my channel on YouTube and Instagram also, I'm a huge advocate of split-toe derbies. A split-toe derby is a style of derby where it has a split at the front. I would highly recommend those when you're doing business casual. Another option is to wear monk straps. That's what I used to wear in the beginning because, like I said, I used to always wear suits. And when I first started getting into business casual, I didn't own any casual shoe. So the only thing I had were suede monk straps. So I would wear those whenever I would do business casual. Because a monk strap is like a cross between an Oxford and a derby, if you will. So that works because it's not as serious as a pair of Oxford. So that definitely works. You can also do loafers. Personally, I like tassel loafers. I'm a huge fan, actually, especially in suede. But I know a lot of guys prefer penny loafers, and that's cool too. All those things work with business casual. And one thing that I see a lot now, I see a lot of shoes where the sole is kind of like rubbery, if you will. I don't really know how to explain it. It's almost like the top looks like an Oxford, but the sole of the shoe looks like sneakers almost. And I know guys will do anything except wear proper shoes. But where the hell did the shoes come from, man? I don't get it, man. I mean, I get it. I think people probably started complaining that wearing proper shoes hurt their feet, so they needed something in between to wear, I guess. But I've been seeing those a lot lately, man, from politicians to athletes, and it's like, yo, man, what are we doing, bro? You want to wear sneakers, man. You want to wear shoes. What's up with those in-between shoes, though, man? What is going on out here, man? Like I said, man, dudes will wear anything except proper shoes. I mean, when you get to a certain age, bro, you got to wear shoes, man. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but stay away from those, whether you're wearing a suit or you're doing the business casual look. Please stay away from those, whatever you do. So thanks for checking out episode 17 on the 5 mistakes that guys make when doing business casual. And come back again next week for another fire episode of I'm Not a Gentleman. Peace.
Back in that bag again. Whoa, yeah. Hey. Back in that, yeah. Tell them to watch it.